Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unravel complex stories and pull out those really insightful nuggets. And today we're diving into something incredibly personal. It's your submitted case study. This is more than just a narrative. It's a life packed with, well, complicated relationships, really tough events, and some deep questions. Our goal, to sift through your sources, including this fascinating dream interpretation, and give you a shortcut to understanding the karma and transformation woven into your life. And just for clarity, this dream interpretation isn't just a dream, it's described as a kind of spiritual insight, offering very specific karmic readings.
That's right. And we'll be exploring some powerful themes here. Personal choices, family dynamics, often unseen influences there, and the path of spiritual awakening. We'll look at how past actions seem to pop up in present situations, and, importantly, how real, profound change is definitely possible. Your story shows that quite vividly.
Absolutely. So, get ready for quite a journey. We're talking about a tough childhood, addiction, abuse,
Yeah.
then a pretty wild youth, leading up to this unexpected spiritual calling far from home. Let's dive in. Okay, let's unpack this with your father. The sources you provided describe him as a man of real contradictions. Normally, polite, quiet, always smiling apparently. But underneath, you called it the heart of a fighter. Never back down. So what does the dream interpretation add to this, especially thinking about, well, what came next?
Well, it's crucial because the interpretation really emphasizes that those not normal times, which were sadly frequent, were directly tied to alcohol. When he drank, this violent, destructive side just took over, completely different person. And this isn't just about personality, it's about actions that create these karmic ripples.
And these actions were devastatingly personal. You describe him using you, from age 9, as a punching bag. Kicking, punching, and that detail about choking you to strengthen the neck.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre and awful. Plus the violence towards his own mother, your grandmother, pushing her down. It shows how far-reaching this was.
It really does. And the fact that the community was, weary of his drunken behavior, it highlights the wider impact. Addiction doesn't just stay in the family home. His idea that alcohol could drown sorrows, well, it's the opposite of what genuine spiritual paths teach, isn't it? They offer real relief. What the dream interpretation perspective brings here is this idea that trying to escape suffering through harmful means often just digs a deeper karmic hole. Our choices really do shape things long term.
And the outcome was tragic. He died at only 48. Chronic alcoholism, liver cirrhosis, diabetes, kidney disease. The physical toll was immense. For listeners maybe less familiar with these specific karmic ideas, how does the dream interpretation connect specific illnesses like these to past actions?
That's a really important point. According to this specific interpretation, the links are quite direct. So the liver cirrhosis is tied mainly to the heavy drinking in this lifetime, but the diabetes, that's linked to past karma of killing animals, for food or with drinks. And the kidney disease, in this view, connects to financial misconduct, stealing money. Often, again, for the alcohol, it's like a karmic accounting.
Gosh. And what about his state after death, given that life?
Well, because he died in such a sad, addicted state of mind, the interpretation says he went to the fifth great hell, which in this Buddhist cosmology is a realm of really intense suffering due to severe negative karma. He's suffering there now, and he can't actually receive merit yet. But any merit you dedicate does wait for him in the Yama realm. That's like a transitional place. This deep dive really shows, doesn't it? Specific actions, specific consequences, both here and well beyond.
From that tragic story, let's turn to your mother. Her journey is just as complex, marked by heartbreak, but also this unique spiritual element that connects to your story, too. You describe her as beautiful, sociable, from Nakhon Nayok. And from childhood, she experienced spirit possession, this hidikit, often dancing or performing for days. Can you explain Din a bit more in this context?
Sure. Rikkikin here refers to a type of spirit possession where a deity or some spiritual entity is believed to enter or strongly influence a person. This often leads to specific ritual behaviors, sometimes unique abilities. It's significant because the dream interpretation suggests this runs deep in your family's spiritual history.
And her life took such a difficult turn when she was pregnant with you. Your father denied he was the father, fled, just left her. In that desperate state, she tried several times to abort you using drugs. Miraculously, it didn't work. That's an incredibly tough start for both of you.
It is, and the dream interpretation offers a really poignant perspective here. It suggests her difficult life, that rejection, stems from her past karma specifically, from a life where she was a philandering man. It's a stark example of how these karmic echoes can play out in current relationships. And your survival, that's attributed to your own past merit with the spiritual community. Plus, there's the karma of you in a past life having made a woman pregnant, denied paternity, leading her to think about abortion. So that experience kind of circled back to you. It really makes you ask, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How much of our spiritual path, our life situations, are influenced by these past life threads and family lines. It's a complex weave.
Right. After being abandoned, her common possessions apparently got much worse. She became crazed, even needed to be chained for some years. That's a horrifying image.
Mhm. But this period also seems to mark a shift towards embracing that path, eventually becoming a respected medium. She accepted the koan cold of Pikanesh or Kumanthong, and the interpretation says this isn't random. It's tied to that family lineage of spirit worship over many lives, a path, it says, that you were also involved in previously.
Despite those early struggles, she found real success as a medium. Opened a big sanctuary, hundreds of followers, even a branch in Victory Monument. It really became her life.
Yeah. And for you, the interpretation gives a very clear way to break free from this inherited pattern. It advises you to decisively let go of belief in mediums and fully embrace the triple gem, the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, a conscious shift.
Okay, let's shift focus now to your early life. You were raised initially by May Norm, your father's sister-in-law or great aunt, and she loved you immensely, believing you were her dead husband reincarnated. That's a powerful bond.
It is, and the dream interpretation actually confirms that connection. It states you and May Norm were mother and child and even husband and wife across many past lives. That explains that really deep attachment she felt, shows how these karmic bonds can endure.
But then another painful event at age 7. Your biological father, the one who'd rejected you, suddenly reappears and takes you away by train, leaving May Norm completely heartbroken. She died later, at 58, from a cerebral hemorrhage. You've always felt it was linked to the stress and grief of losing you.
The interpretation offers a slightly different view here. It says her death was from sorrow and natural causes, yes, but her intense grief was karmically tied to her own past actions, times when she had taken loved ones away from others. It also says she was reborn as a low-level Brahma deity, so a divine being, but still in the cycle of rebirth. Her existence there was tough initially, but the merit you transferred significantly helped her, and that dream you had of her taking you. The interpretation suggests it was more like a mental hindrance, just a strong echo of that attachment, not a literal event.
Okay, I see. Now, fast-forwarding quite a bit to your university years, around 2541 BE. This sounds like a complete flip. Heavy drinking, womanizing, serious gambling, especially football betting. A very different path.
Right, and the consequences followed according to the interpretation. You mentioned getting 3 different women pregnant, and while you offered to take responsibility, they all chose abortion. The interpretation links this back, creating karma similar to your mother's attempt with you, though it says your karma is lighter because you didn't agree with their decision. Still, it highlights the weight of actions around life.
And the danger escalated, didn't it? Near-fatal accidents, falling from a third-story building, head trauma, memory issues from that. Then 2 separate car accidents. You survived them all, remarkably. Even while deep in gambling, you've got death threats over debts, had to flee Thailand first, Malaysia, then Dubai, selling dried food just to get by. This is where that contrast really hits home, doesn't it? Severe negative karma playing out, but also this incredible resilience.
Precisely. And the dream interpretation speaks directly to this. It links the accidents, the fall, the crashes to past panatibat karma, which basically means karma from taking life-killing animals for food, for instance. And it adds another layer. Apparently, in a previous Buddhist era, you were a soldier who tortured and killed enemies, so heavy stuff. But your survival through all that, that's credited to merits you built up with the spiritual community in past lives. It's a fascinating illustration of that balance, or maybe imbalanced, severe negative consequences mitigated by powerful past good deeds.
So after hitting what sounds like rock bottom, what turned things around so dramatically, in Dubai, around 2546 BE, you met your wife, a Thai businesswoman, married in 2547 BE. And the sources stress her influence was huge, kind, charitable, a devotee of Wat Phra Dhammakaya. She introduced you to meditation, big merit-making events.
This really is the pivot point. You said you didn't have much faith initially, but reading about the Dhammakaya knowledge, something clicked. And it led you to actually ordain as a Dhammayat monk in 2547 BE. That's a massive transformation. Your ordination, it sounds like, brought real clarity about Buddhism, monastic life, And significantly, before you disrobed, you made a vow to help spread Dhammakaya knowledge worldwide. Not just a passing phase, but a real commitment.
And that commitment is clearly playing out now. You're a
Yes.
key figure spreading Dhammakaya Buddhism in the Middle East, installing over 20 satellite dishes, acting as an attendant, a driver for monks in Dubai. Really living that vow is quite an inspiring turnaround. Now, let's touch on a few other family questions you had. Your grandmother, she lived an extra 6 years unexpectedly and saw tall, dark friends before she died. What's the interpretation there?
Okay, so the interpretation clarifies two things. Her longer life wasn't directly from your vow. It says her natural lifespan just hadn't run out yet. And that pre-death vision, that was a death premonition. She was seeing officials from the Yama realm coming for her rebirth. As a servant of Brahmadevas, specifically of the Yaksha lineage, Yakshas are a class of nature spirits or deities in Buddhist lore.
Interesting. And your father-in-law's stroke, a head injury, speech problems.
According to the interpretation, that links back to karma from killing animals for food or drink accompaniments, both past and present life actions contributing. The suggestion, alongside medical help, of course, is making merit, releasing animals, and, saving lives, and dedicating that merit to anyone harmed by those past actions, trying to purify that karma.
Right. And your wife's grandmother, she died of old age.
A more peaceful outcome there. The interpretation says she became an Akarta Deva, an air deva, like a celestial being living in the atmosphere, often pictured with a golden palace. This was due to her own merits and merits transferred to her by loved ones.
Okay, finally, let's look at your and your wife's shared spiritual journey. This feels like it ties everything together.
It really does. If you zoom out, your whole story highlights how, even with really heavy karmic baggage, those seeds of past good deeds, plus the crucial influence of a true spiritual friend, can completely change the trajectory. The dream interpretation says you'd actually been separated from the main spiritual community for many lifetimes. You only reconnected recently, and it was because your wife acted as your Kalyana Mitra, that's a spiritual friend or guide. Apparently, way back in a previous Buddhist time, you were a king soldier. Then you ordained and actively spread the Dharma. But later, associating with bad influences pulled you back into these cycles of vice, leading to the challenges you faced. Those past merits, though, were strong enough to bring your wife into your life to guide you back. It also notes your resolve from your ordination isn't quite solid yet. It depends on your ongoing choices. But your wife, she's described as a really strong supply line, a consistent merit maker over many lives, deeply rooted in the community.
What an incredible arc. From being, a victim of terrible abuse and then someone causing harm himself, to now being this devoted figure spreading spiritual knowledge. It's a profound turnaround.
It truly is. And the core message that comes through your story in this interpretation is really about that intricate dance of karma, but also, crucially, the power we have through our choices to break cycles and the huge impact of spiritual connections, especially that Kalyana Mitra role.
Yeah. This whole deep dive really encourages you, our listener, and all of us, I think, to see our lives as this complex tapestry, woven from so many threads, past actions, good and bad. But the most powerful part, transformation is always on the table, no matter how difficult the past looks.
Which leaves us with a thought, doesn't it? If even these really challenging karmic situations can be transformed through dedicated effort, through merit making, through finding a clear spiritual path, what chapters of transformation might be waiting to be written in your own life story?